The man who sent the enemy down in defeat and freed millions is received in London with the highest honors England can bestow. All the king's horses and all the king's men turn out to give homage to the man who, as supreme commander, put an allied army into the field that crushed everything in its path. Accompanied by Air Marshal Tedder, General Eisenhower goes first to that ancient institution, the London Guildhall. Here the Lord Mayor makes the general an honorary citizen of London and presents him with a token sword, which once belonged to the Duke of Wellington. This is the man Churchill called one of the greatest Americans, and Londoners by the tens of thousands echo that thought with hearty cheers as he's driven to the Mansion House. 30 years to the day after his graduation from West Point, he receives honors never before bestowed on an American. He is the first citizen of this country to receive the Order of Merit. The man who taught the Germans to sit up and beg for mercy is a hero before the world, and a grateful England has taken him to its heart.
Whether or not you know it, I am now a Londoner myself. I've got just as much right to be down in that crowd yelling as you have. The great difference that I see in this city and when I came 3 years ago is right here. We can now have crowds. There can be happy gatherings. You don't have to listen for a motor in the sky and wonder whether there's a pilot in the blankety-blank thing or not. You have done something in cementing bonds that must always remain between your country and mine, and into which scope must be brought Russia, France, China, all the other great countries that have helped to whip this Nazi, and we hope will quickly whip Japan. My best to you, my thanks to you. Probably I will never see anything again, but it's also that, then also a word of goodbye and good luck.
The Arc de Triomphe symbolizes its name as a free Paris gathers to honor its deliverer. General Eisenhower pauses to pay tribute at the tomb of France's unknown soldier, accompanied by General de Gaulle. During a day in which honors were heaped upon him, the general is decorated by de Gaulle with the Medal of Liberation. Through wildly cheering crowds, he starts his triumphal tour of the city. A victorious Allied leader rides down the Champs-Élysées, where once Nazi boots tramped. Paris realizes its debt of gratitude to the man from Kansas who welded together a striking force that drove the Nazi from French soil and gave rebirth to French freedom. And at long last, straight from his European triumphs, Ike comes home. Welcoming him to Washington is Mamie, the wife who waited so patiently for her conquering hero. It's a great day for the Eisenhowers of Abilene, Kansas, and the nation's capital puts on the biggest demonstration in its history, as 1 million cheering home folks line the historic parade route. The district commissioners present Ike with the keys to the city, while the procession pauses briefly on the way to the Capitol, and then moves on down Pennsylvania Avenue past the wildly cheering throngs. The General of the Army expressed his deepest love for his homeland when he said on arrival, "Oh God, it's swell to be back." And his famous grin answered the constant shouts of "Ike!" springing from thousands of throats all along the avenue. A disabled veteran gets a hearty response from the chief. And finally, at the Capitol, the general gets a tremendous ovation as he arrives to speak to the members of the Congress and other dignitaries packing the House chamber.
The genius and power of America have, with her allies, eliminated one menace to our country's freedom, even her very existence. Still another remains to be crushed in the Pacific before peace will be restored. The American men and women I have been so honored to command would, I know, say this to you today. In our minds and hearts, there is no slightest doubt that our people's spirit of determination, which has buoyed us up and driven us forward in Europe, will continue to fire this nation through the ordeals of battle yet to come. Though we dream of return to our loved ones, we are ready, as we have always been, to do our duty to our country, no matter what it may be. In this spirit, we renew our pledge of service to our Commander-in-Chief, President Truman, under whose strong leadership we know that final victory is certain.
On the White House lawn, the General's Commander-in-Chief adds another signal honor to the list, the third presentation of the Distinguished Service Medal which Ike has received. This one is for conspicuous service to the peoples of all the United Nations. With characteristic modesty, the great General accepts his honors. A proud day for all America.